Welcome back to my channel. Today's Sunday, September the 8th, and I am an official New Yorker. Oh, goodness. Everything worked out perfectly. I was not required to stay in the apartment in Asbury Park for the entire month of October. When I gave John my notice, he said, well, I'll be over tomorrow to give you your deposit back, and so he did that. He came the next day and gave me back my $580 that I had given him 7 years ago. And during that time, he had kept it in an interest-bearing account, and I think it drew 1% interest a year. So he was so cute. He came back with $600 and 30 cents. So he gave me 6 $100 bills, a quarter, and a nickel. He's so adorable. He always has to have everything just perfect and exactly right, and I just appreciate him. He's probably the best, just the best landlord that I've ever had, and believe me, I've had plenty of landlords. So I just want to show you around my new neighborhood here. Look at this gorgeous weeping willow. Isn't it beautiful? Oh, and then we have these awesome smelling flowers here on this tree. I don't know what they are, but I'm going to sure learn the names of all of these bushes and trees. And I am in my new town, and it's called Manhasset, New York. I do have to learn my way around and everything. It's going to be a lot of fun. But let me see if I can tell y'all what all has transpired. So Jill had been looking for me an apartment, and it's very difficult to find an apartment anywhere on Long Island or anywhere in New York that you can afford on Social Security income. So we found a basement apartment in 4 Rockaway, and it was very reasonably priced. The rent was $1,000 a month, and that is substantially more than what I was paying in Asbury Park. But I have to move closer to Jill and the grandchildren. When I was sick a couple of years ago in the hospital, and Jill had to come down from New York and see about me, and had to bring, then Issa was just a baby, and had to bring Issa with her, and it's just difficult. And when she needs me up here, y'all see what I have to go through to get up here, driving, and 3 or 3.5 hour drive, and crossing the bridges that are $18 each, the tolls and the gas. It's just very expensive. So it was just time for me to move up here, and I'm just going to have to figure out how to afford the rent, and I think I can do it. My YouTube income, I'm doing pretty good with all of y'all watching the ads and everything. My AdSense money is it's a good paycheck, and with that and my Social Security money, and with me being thrifty and frugal, I think I can swing it and not have any problems. I'm sure going to give it a try. So anyway, Jill had found this basement apartment in 4 Rockaway, which, $1,000 a month, in 4 Rockaway, that was very reasonable. So she looked at it, and she thought it was going to be fine for me. So y'all know I had been cleaning out and getting all my stuff packed and everything. So Husani came down, and we rented a little van, and I had left my bed there and left my sofa. My sofa was ready to be put in the trash anyway, but I did donate, or give the bed to the family upstairs, and some other things that were still in good condition, the lamp and things like that. I just left it for the family. So we were able to fit everything that I own in the little van. So we moved up here, and so I went and looked at the apartment, and I walk in there, and I was just overcome with the smell of cigarette smoke. Jill is not sensitive to cigarette smoke, or nor has she ever been allergic to it. So she just didn't pick up on that. I mean, it had just seeped into the walls and the ceiling, and so I thought, oh well, it's okay. I can figure it out. I'll just buy one of these sponge mop things and clean the walls with some vinegar and water. And before I could even get out of there, I had an asthma attack. So I knew right then and there that I was going to have to cancel that lease. It had never really been made official anyway, so it wasn't anything binding that I had to stay with or anything. And it was still pending, whether or not I was willing to move into that apartment and accept it. And it was just unacceptable to me. We knew that the stove was going to have to be replaced, and Husani had offered to buy me the stove for my housewarming gift. But I just can't live there. I mean, I'm not going to live in an apartment, no matter how cheap it is or how reasonable the rent is, if I'm going to be having an asthma attack and not be able to breathe and end up back in the hospital. It's just not worth it. So I was just devastated the last few days. I just didn't know which way to turn, what to do. Just thinking about having to start all over, looking for another apartment. And so y'all remember Zeus, my very good friend who owns the candy manufacturing company. I was talking to Zeus about it, and he said, well, his mother lives in Manhasset, and she had been wanting a companion, a lady that could maybe come in there and go shopping with her and go to lunch with her and just help her out a little bit. She's actually younger than me. Her name is Elizabeth, and we have spoken on the phone. I haven't met her yet, but she sure sounds like a sweetheart. And when Zeus's father was very sick a few years ago, they had a live-in caregiver for him. So there is an apartment in the home where the live-in caregiver stayed, and it is vacant now. So Zeus and his mother Elizabeth have offered that apartment to me. The rent is reasonable for this Manhasset area. She could surely get a lot more for it than what she's charging me. And so I just want to thank you, Zeus, so much for making this possible for me, because you know that I was just basically crying on your shoulder and just so upset over what had happened with the basement apartment in Far Rockaway. But God provides. I have been on my knees the last 3 or 4 days just asking God to please work all of this out for me. Saying to God, I know that when one door opens, when one door closes, another one opens, and it's always for the better. And that is what has happened to me. So I just want to thank you, dear God, for helping me and for working all of this out. And I want to thank you, Zeus, for helping me and working all of this out. And I know there's still going to be a few bumps in the road here and there, but I never give up hope. No matter what happens, how detrimental it seems to me or how difficult, I'm going to always pull myself up by the bootstraps and just keep putting one foot in front of the other. And that's what I encourage all of you to do, because I get comments all the time and emails from my subscribers, and I want you to know how much I pray for you, how much I feel your heartache and your hardships and your pain and suffering. I'm very empathetic, and I do have empathy for you, and I can certainly feel what you're going through, because I've been through rough times myself. Just looking at this willow tree here, it reminds me of Jeremy. If y'all will remember back the story that I did about when we lived in Knoxville, Tennessee, and Jeremy's favorite tree was the weeping willow, and we went to the nursery and bought that little boy a weeping willow tree, and we planted it there in the backyard. I have a YouTube friend who has offered to ride by there and take a picture of that willow tree for me, and I can't remember I remember the street name. It was San Marcos Drive, but I don't remember the house address. But I'll look it up on Google Earth, and I'll email you and let you know what that address is, because I would love to see how big Jeremy's weeping willow tree is. So that's about all that I have for today. If I can, if before it gets dark, if I can, I don't really know my way around Manhasset. This is all new to me, but what I've seen so far is it's absolutely gorgeous. So I know I'm going to really love it here, and I'm going to love being near New York, but most of all, I'm going to love being near Issa and baby Ife. So if there anything that y'all are interested in seeing in this area, let me know and I'll try my best to film it for you. Now Zeus is going to be coming in a couple of weeks, and he is going to make candy, and he wanted me to ask y'all what type of candy would you like for him to make? Do you want him to make caramel apples? Or do you want him to make turtles? Or maybe gummy googly eyes, something for Halloween? Just leave in the comments what kind of candy that you want Zeus to make, and we'll be on camera. We're going to do a live stream. So I just have a lot of good things planned for my channel. A lot of new exciting things, and we are going to miss Snowflake, and we are going to miss the boardwalk and the beach, but it's time to turn over a new leaf and turn the pages in the next chapter of the book of my life. And I want to thank you for coming along with me these last 2 years, and I just ask you to please stay with me, and let's see what kind of trouble we can get into. I just love y'all so much, and please give me a thumbs up, and y'all just keep on coming back. And let's take a little look at this waterfall. Now this is not a city park. This is actually near the high school, I do believe. But we'll be walking. I'm going to find the city park, and we will be walking around there. So that's going to be my video for today, and I am going to be very busy unpacking and getting settled in my new apartment, and not really sure what Elizabeth is going to be willing to let me film and put on YouTube, but I'm sure I can at least film the kitchen, and we can do some more cooking. And y'all just keep on coming back. Bye guys, I love you.